This is Channel 2 News, coverage you can count on.
The bears, for the most part, have stayed up in the mountains where they belong.
The Nevada Department of Wildlife says thanks to a normal water year in 2015, the number of bear conflicts and deaths are down this year. How soon we could expect to see that bear activity change in the fall is tonight's Channel 2 News big story at 5:30. Good moisture last winter, of course, means more natural foods in the mountains for the bears to eat. They have a lot to eat. You're gonna hear how many calories these bears eat in just a second.
They can put it away.
Good evening, I'm Landon Miller.
I'm Kristen Remington. Thanks for keeping it here. And when there's more food up there, of course, that means fewer bears are less likely to travel down here into town where human interaction can, of course, happen. Ryan Kennedy shows us why 2016 thus far has been the kind of bear year NDOW likes to see.
In terms of bear conflict, Chris Healy with the Nevada Department of Wildlife says 2016 has been a relatively quiet year. We're nearly in October, and he says NDOW has only handled 49 bears. That compares to 114 last year and 140 bears in 2014.
These drought years can be really tough on animals and tough on humans, and it's just nice to have a year where the bears are not in the news as much for negative reasons.
Even the number of bears killed by cars is down, from 19 to 6 in just a single year. Healy contributes these decrease in numbers to a great winter in 2015.
Last year was a pretty good water year, almost 100% of normal, depending on where you went. And the reason we like that kind of year is because the bears have a fighting chance to remain wild bears because there's plenty of food up in the backcountry.
Healy knows the bears are staying in the mountains because of satellite trackers that they've collared on 20 bears. This allows them to track and see whether the bears are coming down into human habitat or staying in the backcountry where they've been released. While we have had a relatively slow bear year so far, we aren't out of the woods yet. All it takes is a hard frost to cause berries like these to fall. This could, of course, lead to conflict once the bears come down out of the mountains searching for food.
Then we'll be able to tell through the movement of those satellite collars whether the bears are starting to come back towards humans and human sources of food.
Healy says as we move toward winter, bears are beginning to increase their caloric intake from 3,000 to 30,000 calories in a single day to prepare for hibernation. This makes it important for people to start being proactive in harvesting fruit now if it's available in their yards, to keep the bears away when they come searching for food.
Bottom line is they're going to know when that fruit is ripe, and if they're not finding other sources of food, their noses will bring them down into civilization, into those urban interface areas.
Covering the big story, Ryan Kennedy, Channel 2 News.
Now, here's meteorologist